very good evening to you. Thanks for joining us on the abridged version of the show. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Well, we're going to take you through some things happening in the world of sports as we speak. In the English Premier League, Manchester City currently taking on Aston Villa. Manchester City, a man down now in that game. All right, and also we'll be talking about the Olympics. Hopefully, at some point on the show, we will link up with someone who has a lot of interesting things to say about Team Nigeria's preparation and the Olympics in general. Let's bring you into all that we're doing on the show tonight. Of course, it's tonight you want to talk to us, even though we have a few minutes to spend on the show. This is what you need to do. Send in your mail, get across us on Facebook and on Twitter. That handle on your screen. Let us know how you feel about the interesting things happening in the amazing, fast-paced, money-spinning world of sports. Let's go to Oyo. Okay, all right. Let's go to Oyo State quickly and talk about, in the aftermath of the National Sports Festival, the governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, has reiterated his commitment to sports development as a major tool to arrest youth restiveness in the state. Governor Makinde gave this assurance while receiving Team Oyo athletes at the just concluded 20th National Sports Festival at the Government House in Ibadan. The governor announced cash awards of 500,000 to each gold medalist, 350,000 to all the silver medalists, and 250,000 to each bronze medalist, and of course, 500,000, that's 500,000 to each coach. And that's the incident you've seen on your screen. It happened today at the Government House. Let's quickly take a listen to what the governor had to say. We'll come back for more sports tonight.
This government will continue to encourage sports development, even at the grassroots level. That's why across the geopolitical zones of Oyo State, we are upgrading sports facilities in there. So we should start seeing the result from that investment. I'm sure we'll see instant results at the next National Sports Festival.
Governor of Oyo State, Seyi Makinde, receiving the athletes who represented the state at the just concluded National Sports Festival. All right, we continue with our countdown of the biggest sporting events in the world, the multi-sport events known as the Olympic Games. Tokyo 2020, that will be held in 2021. 93 days ago, that's what you have on your screen officially from where we stand, 93 days to go. Of course, the International Olympic Committee has reiterated that in spite of a possible state of emergency that could be imposed on Tokyo, the Olympic Games will go ahead as planned. The Olympics will go ahead as planned according to the IOC, and of course that will make for an interesting discussion. On the show tonight, with a few minutes we have left, we have the CEO of Making of Champions, Bambo Akoni. He joins us now as we take a look at this, and of course Team Nigeria. But first, greetings to you, Bambo. Thanks for taking our time to be with us on the show tonight.
Thank you for having me. As always.
All right. Of course, you listened to what I just said. The IOC saying, in spite of a possible scenario where Tokyo might be in a lockdown just to curtail the increase in the number of cases of COVID-19, the IOC says the Olympics will go ahead, and of course, Tokyo would host a one-in-a-lifetime Olympics. How do you see all of this? Is there a reason for us to be afraid, or we should just take the IOC's word?
I think it's important we take the IOC's word at the moment. If you look closely at that state of emergency they are considering, it's for a 10-day period from 29th April to 9th of May. It's I think it's to do with their Golden Week holiday or celebrations in Japan. And I think Japan has handled the pandemic much better than most countries. It's been a terrible death toll globally, of more than 3 million people. But only 10,000 of those have been in Japan. And as sad as that is, one has to say that they've handled it pretty well. This state of emergency they're considering is preemptive to make sure that over a holiday period, they don't have a surge in cases with all the different strains flying around.
All right, let me just throw this in quickly before we talk about Team Nigeria. There are some dissenting voices, and it seems to be growing these days. And I want to ask you your opinion. Of course, you can't be right or wrong because it's your personal opinion. Mm. Do you think that those calls will grow louder and we might see a possible shift or a cancellation
of the Olympics? No, I don't think so. I think that they're locked in. I think that it is definitely 2021 or never for Tokyo Olympics. But I definitely believe that they're well on course to deliver, I think, the most memorable Olympics for a century, given the circumstances. I think we have to look to other international events, such as the Australian Open not too long ago, for how they moved hundreds of athletes and personnel to Australia. There will be a lot of very strict guidelines about quarantining on arrival. Teams may have to arrive 2 or 3 weeks before. But I have full confidence that they'll be able to pull it off.
All right, thanks, man. But let me just ask you this. 93 days to go. Let's piggyback and look at Nigeria and make it our corner piece and talk about Nigeria. 93 days to go. The sports minister has told us in Lagos and Port Harcourt, Team Nigeria, the ones that are based in Nigeria will train. And I know you're also monitoring some of our athletes scattered across the globe. So what can you say with 93 days to go? Are you feeling the vibes? You think our preparation is up to scratch? Or, I mean, basically your opinion on Team Nigeria in terms of preparation?
Well, I think some sports are on course. Obviously we have the men and women's basketball teams in the Olympics for the first time at the same Olympics. I think it was the women's team that had already done a camp in the US. I think they're preparing well. The men are preparing well as well. I think we have to give kudos to President of Wrestling as well, Daniel Igali, all the great work he's done in wrestling over the years. And we know that they're preparing well also. I think the corner piece sport of, table tennis as well. I think they're doing well. But obviously the corner piece sport is track and field, athletics, and you can see some scenes there from the third MOC Grand Prix a couple of weeks ago. We have to see what is going to happen with the AFN. There's been some crisis internally, which they're working through. We believe that the resolution is very near. And a lot is riding on the World Relays in just 10 days' time. Nigeria's finally entered the team. We would expect at least 4 of the 5 relay teams to qualify there, if not all 5. And that will set the tone for what Nigeria's medal haul could be at the Olympics. Our biggest medal haul, I think, was Atlanta 96, was 6 medals. 4 came from athletics. It is very possible to beat that medal haul this year, but a lot is riding on, can we get it together in athletics? Can we get medals in the relays? Can we get a few individual medals? I believe that Nigeria can win 5 medals in athletics alone at this Olympics, but a lot of work still needs to be done.
So how much of work can be done with 93 days to go? That begs the question.
Well, the good thing is that a lot of the athletes individually have been doing the work for years. We have Blessing Okagbare, who is desperate for that individual Olympic sprint medal. She looks in good form so far this year. We have Divine Oduduru as well, who is now the 200-meter record holder for Nigeria. We have the likes of Ruth Usoro, who is number 2 in the world right now in the triple jump. We have Tobi Amuson, who is hurdles. She was 4th at the World Championships. Ese Brume was a bronze medalist at the World Championships. So, there's already 4 or 5 potential individual medalists. Mix that up with 4 or 5 potential medals in the relays. And I haven't even mentioned Favour Ofili, who is lighting it up in the NCAA right now, around 22.3, wind aided. But she's going to be a factor in the 200 and in the relay. I'm really excited about our relay teams once they qualify.
most of the athletes you talk about are the ones that are not here. So before we let you go, what about the ones that are here? How bright are their chances? Are there any prospects of any one of them shocking us, shocking the world, and going on to win medals in a few minutes?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, I mean, as you know, I'm very passionate about the athletes at home. You know, there's been some great performances this year. I think the standout performer at home at the moment is Grayson Wokocha. She qualified for the Olympics in the 100 at the MOC Grand Prix with 11:09. She qualified in the 200 at the National Sports Festival with 22:79. So she is definitely going to be in the mix with her current progression. She, you know, hopefully she can be looking at getting into at least the semifinals or the finals at the Olympics. And then you also have other great performers who were at the National Sports Festival. You know, Kadego K in the 100 meters, Akintola Alaba in the 200. And obviously, you know, our athletes are making up champions. I think they won about 10 medals at this festival after only winning 2 3 years ago. So you have the likes of Jerry Jakpa, Emmanuel Ojeli, Joy Odo Gabriel, who are all going to be in the mix in the relay teams. And, you know, like I already mentioned, some of those relay teams can come back from the Olympics as medalists.
All right, Barakuni, I want to thank you for your time. Even though we couldn't do much on the show, but I want to thank you for your time. Hopefully we get to do this some other time. Okay, so that's our man, CEO of Making of Champions, Barakuni, you know, giving us updates on Team Nigeria and all other related issues. All right, let's talk about the NWFL Super 6, and let's show to you what's going to happen on match day 3. That's going to be tomorrow, the Super 6. Let's quickly give that to you. Things going on in Ijebu-Ode. You have Edo Queens will take on FC Robo Queens. Reverse Angels will take on Bielsa Queens. And also Sunshine Queens will take on Delta Queens. All right, so if you love women's football, you need to monitor this. The winner of this event will represent Nigeria at the inaugural CAF Women's Champions League. All right, let's go to England now. After all the teams have pulled out of the Super League, let's take a look at what's happening in the English Premier League. In a game played earlier in the day, Tottenham Hotspur defeated Southampton 2-1 in the game currently going on. It's at half-time, by the way. Aston Villa and Manchester City. Manchester City, a man down, but currently leading 2-1 in that game. So that's the situation report from the English Premier League. Second game is live. First game already concluded with Spurs nicking that one in the English Premier League. Let's take 1 or 2 tweets before call it a day on the show. Of course, a lot of you have been talking about some of the things going on. All right, tomorrow in the English Premier League, this is going to happen. Leicester City will take on West Brom. Of course, it's a game that's going to involve Nigerians. Whether or not they get to play something else. Wilfred Ndidi Kelechi Iheanacho for Leicester, and Shemi Ajayi if he gets to play for West Brom. That's going to be the fixture for tomorrow. A lot of you are talking about, let me just mention some names because I'm not going to be able to read. Dean Coleman talking about the MMA. You also have a couple of other people talking about other things happening in the world of sports. But that's a wrap on the show. That's how far we can go. We do thank you for enjoying the abridged version of the show. We're going to be back here again tomorrow. We'll have more time on our hands, take you on a trip across the money spinning world of sports. I'm Yemi Adebayo. Bye-bye now.